Hello everyone, you're watching The Entry. I'm your host Sarah Farid, and today I'll be discussing the movie Hidden Figures. So, I just watched it. I'm gonna give you my opinions, topics that it talks about, like the problems that it's facing or discussing. And I'm also gonna give you an overall of what happened, like an overall summary, synopsis, what happened in the movie itself. Was it worth it to watch the entire 2 hours? Was it not worth it? We'll see. Okay? Lots of opinions, lots of ideas. Let's get into it. So, it's a true story. It's based on a true story. Everything's real. Now, this puts a lot of things into perspective. Once you know that it's based on a true story, you really begin to wonder every single detail in this movie. You're like, oh wow, that's crazy, like that actually happened. Insane, right? So what actually happened? Okay, and if you didn't watch the movie already, that's good. Don't get spoilers before you watch this episode, right? But it's okay if you watched it already. You can't undo that. It will give you a better idea of what I'm trying to say. You can agree with what I'm saying, comment down below what you think of what's gonna happen in the movie if you already didn't watch it. Okay, let's get into it. So it's about 3 African American women. In the movie they referred to them as colored. Okay, and I've learned that that's not a preferable way to call them, so I'm gonna say African American. So their names are, let's see, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson. Okay, so they are mathematicians and engineers, and basically they worked at NASA during the space race, and they were trying to fix this spaceship into going to the moon, I guess. But the main theme of this movie is basically racism. Okay, so racism is the first one, and then there is the sexism. Why? What's happening? Right. This movie is set in the 1960s, early 1960s. So, as we know, there's a lot of racism at this time. And this, of course, all around the world, okay? The beginning of the movie, it paints Catherine. So she's like the genius one out of all of them. She was often named, like, in the entire movie, good with numbers. The best with numbers in the entire room, basically. And if you imagine, the entire room is a bunch of white men. Like, all of them are men. And the stereotypes are like, okay, you're white and you're a man, you're definitely an engineer. Okay, you're definitely smart enough. You should be an engineer. You're already an engineer as soon as, your fate has been decided that you're white and man, okay? Even her, like, Catherine even said it herself, like, well, if I was white and a man, I would already have been an engineer. I wouldn't have to try, during one of the conversations she was having. So that's what I remember. Anyway, so she was painted as this genius from a very young age. Like, she was probably like 5 or 6, right? Like a very small little girl, and in a classroom full of what looked like teenagers, or at least 11, 12 years old little kids, right? So she's, of course, half their age and already doing algebra and all these math equations, and she's explaining it like she is just a genius, right? So you're meant to understand, okay, she's really, really smart. Where is this going, right? So, like, a lot of the movie, it's mainly talking about math and, oh, she did all of these calculations and equations and, so you already, the viewer, the audience, already gets an idea of, okay, she's really smart, she's gonna succeed, right? But throughout the movie, all odds are against her. Why? Because she's African American, and nobody, as they say in the movie, like, hires African American, especially women, to work. Throughout the movie, the white women always are like, you're lucky you even have this job. You're lucky that we even didn't fire you. So you're made to feel sympathy. You're made to feel bad for her, right? This is the main objective of the producers, the directors, whoever's making this movie, you're made to feel, oh, this sucks, right? This is terrible. Like, she should not have this much prejudice against her just because of her skin color, right? And her gender. And her other mate, right, Mary Jackson. So, Mary Jackson, she's seen as the very unserious one, not afraid to speak her mind, basically. She's my favorite character, personally. So, I just spent the last 20 minutes recording a clip. And because I have such amazing luck, both of those clips, like there was 13 minutes and there was 5 minutes, both of them are not working. So now I'm gonna have to record everything again for the third time. Aren't y'all excited? Aren't y'all happy on this wonderful night with my cat screaming in the background? Okay. So, for the third time, let's repeat this. It's like I'm teaching a class. So, basically, what I was saying. Oh, I love Mary. She's my favorite character, right? So, why? You will begin to find out in this beginning scene that the movie shows you. It breaks down in the middle of nowhere, basically. Long road, there's nothing, nobody, it's the afternoon, it's hot, there's not even wind, okay? There's nothing. So, what's her name? Dorothy, she's under the car. See, I'm so stressed. She's under the car, okay? She's doing something, she looks like, oh, she knows what she's doing. Like, you don't expect, you don't really see women under the car doing, the work under the car and whatever she's doing. You don't see this every day, okay? So you're like, oh, wow, you're kind of impressed. You're like, okay, this is nice. So, anyways, the other two, okay? So, Mary and Catherine, they're in their own worlds. They're thinking of something else in their heads. They're not focusing on what's happening. So you, as the audience, as the viewer of the movie, you begin to wonder, are they okay? Are they stressed? What's going on? So you begin to feel like, okay, there's underlying issues here. There is something happening. This is kind of, okay. You get the idea of something is gonna happen, okay? This is what they do in movies, right? Foreshadowing, you could say. So Dorothy is under the car begging for help. Do this, turn on this, blah, 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 give me this. She's trying to have them answer what she's saying, but nope, they're in their worlds. And finally, Mary snaps out of it, makes Catherine snap out of it. Oh, sorry, of course, blah, 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 helps. They help each other, okay? Then, the camera angle switches, okay? So now, you're looking at it's almost like never ending. It's like heaven, bro. Like, whew. And then you just see this police car inching closer to you. And of course, you are nervous. You feel nervous for the characters. You feel like, oh my god, what's happening? Because of course, when you see a police car coming your way, you're not in the movie, but you just feel nervous anyways. You begin to feel, oh my god, what did I do? I feel guilty. What did they do? Nothing. They didn't do anything, right? And sometimes you're like, oh, but sometimes in movies they hide information from you. Maybe they did something wrong. You never know. No, they actually didn't do anything wrong. Like, this is what happened. This is what you see. So you're nervous for that. So the viewer is now feeling sympathy, right? And nervous, and there is this suspense because the camera angle is in a way that makes the road look so far away and the car is so slow that you're almost waiting an eternity for this police car to arrive. So it's like you're in trouble for so long, right? This feeling of uneasiness is in you for like a few moments, right? To them it's like 5 minutes or something. To you it's a minute, okay? It's a movie. No one's gonna sit and watch 5 minutes of a car coming up to you, So anyways, police car finally arrives. Catherine comes out of the car. Dorothy, they're all, and Mary, Mary was already at the car, but anyways, they're all like lined up together. Mary is kind of like first in line, and then there's Catherine, and then there's Dorothy. He begins to ask for their IDs. They give it, whatever. They have this small talk. He finds out that they're working in NASA. asking about this person. Oh, have you worked with this person? Do you know him? Do you speak with him? So Mary, being the courageous person she is, and kind of smart actually. She's smart. All of them are really smart, but in this situation, she's smart. So she lies to get her and her friends out of the situation. Yes, we talk to him a lot. We every day we talk to him on a daily basis. We know him very well. We work with him. Oh, really? And then they of course follow in with the lie. Catherine and Dorothy. Yeah. They're all agreeing with this made up lie out of thin air that they're working with him. So of course you notice a change in behavior. He's now starting to respect them. He's starting to build rapport with them. And you're kind of confused. Okay, well, is he building respect because they work in NASA and they're really smart? Or is it just because he supports this person and they work with him? Which is probably the reason. Okay, so the reader is left wondering for a little bit and is confused about the intentions of this police officer and what he's really thinking, right? So, moving on. He begins to ask, okay, so, they talk a little bit about him, and he's like, do you guys need help? Do you need help to get to where you are? Because, remember, they're in the middle of nowhere, basically. There's nothing around. So, what's her name? Dorothy and Catherine. They, of course, they just want to get out of the situation, And you would too, right? If you're being just in the middle of nowhere by yourself with your friends and this police officer just kind of having a small talk with you, and you just kind of like, you want to get out of the conversation. So they're like, no, we're good. No, it's no bother to you. We don't want to bother you, okay? Then, Mary, being smart, courageous, and brave, okay, she's my favorite character, as I mentioned before. She's like, yes, we need help. And this is an interesting moment. It's a small little moment, but it kind of, what's the word? Catalyzed all the other events in this movie. So, because she helped them jumpstart to where they are, this allowed them to actually have jobs and to keep their jobs. Because imagine, you're late, you're fired. Because they are of this color, they will be fired if they are late or what. Just any minute things they do, excuse, get out, basically. Redundant. You're made redundant. So, anyways, so they get the help they need, right? They get to where they need to be. So later on in the movie, you also see Dorothy having this, step up in leadership. She is seen as very also brave, but in a way that's like when she is with her people, when she has she calls them her girls, right? There's a bunch of them in this small little room, right? And it's kind of like a dark room, and it's not the best looking in terms of decoration, in terms of how it looks, like how it's furnished, basically, the room, compared to the other rooms that the white men are working in or white women are working in, right? Theirs is glass, rooms, and the desks are nice and everything looks modern. Theirs, not so much, right? Even the light is not good. So you're like, okay, already this is clear discrimination, right? Now, this is one of the important things that was appearing, the bathroom situation. This is often talked about a lot. So, what do you mean, the bathroom situation? Okay, why are you talking about bathrooms? So, there was segregation, as you guys know. This was in the early 1960s, okay? So, speaking of segregation, let me just fact check what I'm about to say. Yeah, so Rosa Parks, right? So let me give you a debrief, right? So the whole, the bus situation where black women had to sit at the end of the bus and black women and black men, and then white people had to sit in the front. Well, that situation is often told in a way that's not exactly correct. It's missing a few bits of information, okay? So, what we know happened was, oh, she went on the bus, she paid her ticket, and she walked past the white people and sat on her chair, and someone told her to move, and so she didn't want to move. And I guess now she started, I don't know, being an activist, American civil rights activist, okay? But actually, kind of, this creates a new interpretation of this scenario, you could say, event that happened. So, of course, there was a door to go into the bus in the beginning of the bus, like where the bus driver is. You pay your ticket, but because she was black, she had to get off the bus, go all the way around into the end of the bus. There's another door at the end, so she cannot pass by the white people. She had to go all the way around the end of the bus and get into the end. She gets onto the end, she sits on a place, and now usually in this moment right here, when so this usually does happen. So thank God this bus driver didn't do that. But when they have paid their ticket and they get out and they're about to go into the other door, the bus drives off. They paid. They gave money. But no, who cares? He drives off. It's like a little funny joke to them. Obviously, very rude, very dishonest. Would not recommend. So, anyways, Rosa Parks goes into the back of the bus, right? So she sits there, minding her own business, and she's looking at the window the whole time this interaction is happening. So this interaction, basically, a white person is prioritized in this situation. They're always prioritized. If a white person needs to sit down, you need to get up. Talking to colored people, black people. But she didn't want to do that. She said, actually, no, I'm not gonna move. And she is ignoring what's happening, this whole commotion that's happening, and she is looking out the window. I'm pretty sure eventually the police is called, the bus driver shouting at her, and she is getting pulled off by the police outside of the bus, right? Now, this is not really relevant to the movie, but it is around the same time that the movie is set in. So this is from 1955 to 1956, right? And this movie is in the early 60s. So very, very close time to when the situation happened. So basically, the bathrooms were separated, right? There was the ladies' room and then the colored ladies' room, implying that white women are the norm. Basically, like, if you are white, you go in the normal bathroom. You're normal, basically. Insane, okay? So, of course, the normal ladies' room, the one without the word colored on it, so it's just for white people then, is on the same floor. It's right next to the office where Catherine is working. So Catherine, she got assigned to this job as a computer, right? She's really good with numbers. This is her nicknames all throughout the movie. Wow, she's so smart, okay? Anyways, so she wants to use the toilet. So she has this moment of hesitation where she's gonna go to the just the ladies' room, not the colored one. Okay, so she's like, okay, like, you see her thought process. She wants to use the toilet. She needs to go right now. Like, she needs to go. But then, this whole thing is interrupted. This whole scene is interrupted by the sudden commotion. 4 girls or something, 4 women. I don't know. Just a group, or like a group of friends. They come out, and they're like staring at each other, staring at her, like, oh my god, she was about to use the same toilet as we were. Crazy. So she's of course ashamed, right? She's embarrassed, like, oh, they caught me, I guess, whatever. So she I think she mentioned that she had to walk around like 40 minutes to the colored lady's room. She had to, like, in heels, by the way. Imagine, like, most of you guys probably don't wear heels, but I don't really. But you know, if you wear heels, right, you know how painful it is to just to normally walk for 5 minutes on, like, quick. Like, that's still a bit painful. Like, your heels are like being dug into, every step you take. So it is painful, okay? But imagine walking like that 40 minutes, coming back a few times. Like, you drink a lot of coffee, you drink a lot of water, you eat. It's not like you're a robot. You would need to use the toilet like at least 7 times in the entire day, right? This is like an average. I'm just guessing. Like, I don't actually know. I don't count. But, like, let's assume you go to the bathroom maybe every hour and a half, at least a few times a day, at least a handful of day, okay? Whatever. So by the way, she brings all her work with her. Like, this is showing to the audience, the viewer of the movie, that she is so dedicated to her job that she is bringing her, like, stacks of books, so heavy, with a pen, and she's running with it, rushing with it to the ladies' room, all across the road, like, whatever. Like, the way they filmed it is showing you, like, oh wow, that was really far away. Like, it's showing like a whole journey, right? So of course this could have all been avoided if you went to the ladies' room, if there wasn't any of this. But moving on. So she is shown to be very dedicated to her work, a very honest woman, very smart as well. She's doing it on the toilet, like, very, very fast. She just knows all the calculations in her head, okay? Throughout the movie, she is just labeled very good with numbers, very smart, all that stuff. It's just in your head. It's just, they keep wanting you to understand this in your head, right? They're giving you these informations in you know? So then she comes back. Of course, she's sweating, she's panting, she's tired. Just walked all of this just to go to the toilet for 2 minutes. It's crazy, right? Unreasonable. Of course, showing you that she's such an integral part of the company, that she does so much work, that she's so smart, that she is needed. The boss and I think the secretary, I don't know who she is. She just keeps reappearing in the movie, and she just talks like, "Oh, you're lucky you have this job." Blah blah. Blah. They talk to her whenever they need to switch jobs or something. Maybe she is like the other boss. I don't actually know. I watched this movie. This is my second time watching it. I watched it like a few months ago, so even I still don't know what she works as. Not clear. Anyways, basically, they're like, where is she? What happened to her? We're taking breaks now. Like, he's assuming that she's taking a break, which we know as the audience, the viewer, this does not seem like her at all. She literally takes the work with her to the toilet. She is always afraid of not being on time. She never misses work. She's always there day and night, right? And there's a scene, which I'll talk about later, that she got an Oscar award, I'm pretty sure, for. So, anyways. So, she finally comes back. Where have you been? All this stuff. Oh, I just went to the toilet, all that stuff. So this keeps happening. This recurring problem of her having to use the bathroom, right? And of course, it's a normal human, like, function. You need to go to the bathroom. So it seems to us it's so unreasonable that she has to get shut to death for using the toilet, right? But anyways, later, the boss finally is like, fine. Like, she has this entire breakdown saying, she even, I forgot to mention, I'm sorry, I'm jumping into it. My brain is all over the place. So, she even uses the same coffee machine as the other guys, right? Whenever she steps into the room, they're all like, oh my god, You know, it's like, okay, bro, okay, chill out, you know. But anyways, so she uses this coffee machine that they were using, right? Um, and you don't think twice about if you're using the correct coffee machine. It's a coffee machine, okay? Just plug it in, that's it, right? So she's putting her mug in and she's getting herself a drink, and she bought it herself. Walking to her desk. What's happening? She took a coffee out of the coffee machine. Crazy! She did what the machine was used for. OMG. So they decided between themselves, like they're giving each other glances, that they're just not gonna use that same coffee machine. Like it has been infected or something, you know? So this is where this line comes from. So she says, I work like a dog day and night. And something about like, and you don't even use the same coffee machine as me. And look, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she was talking about how she doesn't even get paid enough to buy a pearl necklace, right? And this comes in later, okay? The mention of this pearl necklace, important later. So, later on, the boss, of course, has had enough. He has listened to her complaints. It's almost like he having character development, okay? He improved his character. He's slowly advocating for her rights, okay? And overall, all of the African American women's rights in this company. Because you will see, like, there's a few scenes where Dorothy is, like, leading them, and there's, like, an entire, you know, group, like an army of them. It's like, whoa, there's so many of them working, like, but like there's not that many of them, of course, because they wouldn't really hire them. Like they would all keep sprinkling in the sentence here and there, like, you're lucky you even have a job, okay? Which puts you in perspective, like, it's really rare for them to actually be working and have a job. So he breaks down, like, they all follow the boss, right? They're all seeing what's going on. And even the army of the African American women, they're all watching, right? He's hammering, goes to the other side. He's hammering the sign of the colored ladies' room, right? He broke it down. It's on the floor. He's like, there. And you feel like, whoa, he did something. So this was a kind of like a breakthrough, right? This was a breakthrough in the movie. Finally, there's something that happened, you know? So, he said now that colored women, or African American women, can now use the same bathroom as white women. And she's pleased. She smiles. Finally, improvement, right? That's great. Moving on. There was also a huge theme all throughout of them being underestimated. Basically, they're not confident in their capabilities, right? Especially Mary Jackson, okay? My favorite character. She wanted to attend engineering school, right? And I'm pretty sure her husband, he was like, yeah, like, there's no way. You're, like, in your dreams, like, this is, this is not gonna happen. She's like, no, just let me try. Like, she's seen as such an inspiration in this movie. Like, it's showing you, like, you should try. You should always try your best. If it doesn't work out, at least you tried. So, she really wants to attend engineering school. She's gonna make it happen. But she had to take courses, and she's not white. She could not attend these courses. She goes in front of a judge, and she speaks in a way that's very smart, actually. It's almost like making it more personalized to the judge. She's talking straight to the judge, not to, okay? She's kind of basically talking to the judge as if it's gonna be a great opportunity for him. It's a benefit for him, not for her, because she's going to college or engineering school. Who cares? You know, like, why does it matter to him if she's going? He's already graduated. He doesn't gain anything from her attending engineering school. So she makes it as if like, you were the first in your family, right? You were the first to attend university, college. You're the first to do this, blah blah blah. You're the first born, even everything. So he is impressed. Like, oh, you did your research, yes sir. You know, she did her research. She knows who she's talking to, and she knows what she's talking about. In a way, that's almost as if she's making it seem like it's in interest for the judge and not her. So she's like, imagine then you will be the first judge in 100 years or whatever to have done something like this. Blah 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 blah. Just to make it seem like he's the one benefiting from this and not her. So very great. Like, the way she spoke was like, even I'm convinced. Okay, and I'm not even in the movie. But okay, anyways, I'm already convinced from the beginning. Okay, just to let you know. So the judge finally agrees to her only going for night classes or evening classes, not morning classes. So I'm guessing she's just gonna be away from majority of the white people, but she's really ecstatic. Okay, she's really happy. She's like, yes. Like, she gets out, of course, not in front of him, like, yeah, like, no, she gets out, yes. She's really happy, whatever. So that's another win. Okay, that's another development. Okay, and so the underestimating also happens with Catherine. So she meets this guy. I don't really know who he is. Basically, he looked like he was like some sort of soldier or someone who worked at the army. Okay, basically, they show you little scenes like, oh, I think they might actually get married, right? Because like, it's very obvious. Oh, they show you scenes. Oh, he's looking at her, and like, you think, oh, this is foreshadowing something. Okay, so later in the movie, her friend, again Mary, okay, the one who is always taking the initiative and the lead, tells him to come. Of course, Catherine is like, oh my god, what are you doing? Why are you calling him over? And so she's, of course, filling up plates for her 3 daughters. I forgot to mention that. Oh my god. Anyways, her husband died, so she's a single mom with 3 daughters. I'm pretty sure also the others are also they have husbands and kids. Not really. It wasn't like an integral part. Like, they weren't really talked about, so I do not remember. But anyways, so Mary and Dorothy, they're like, oh, let's go get pie. Oh, excuse us. Basically, like, leaving them alone. So she's like, oh my god, you already had pie. Why are you leaving me? So that was funny. That was like a little funny part. I was like, oh, okay, that's funny. But anyways, so moving on. They begin talking, and it's going well for a few moments until he says something along the lines of, I didn't expect you to do it. I didn't expect women of whatever. Like, he caught himself off because he realized what came out of his mouth was very offensive, right? So she gets offended, of course. She says something along the lines of, you don't judge by what they wear. If they wear skirts, you judge if they wear glasses. That was like the last line of all what she said. She went on a kind of like a rant, which actually stuck with me because like, I was like, that's interesting. Look at their wearing glasses. Look at their geniuses. Not look at what their appearance is. Okay, right? Because that was kind of like the prejudice, like, oh, just appearance. And of course, not just appearance, but also race, color. Anyways, so he's kind of like, I messed up. Next time they meet, they're in a party, right? And people are dancing, having a good time. So she's there. She finishes talking with someone else. He comes next to her. He's like, I think I owe you an apology. Oh, is that all you gotta say? Well, I will tell you all I have to say if you allow me to dance. She takes a few moments to think about it. They dance together. Blah blah blah. This whole love story happens. They get married at the end. Okay, moving on. Oh, I forgot to mention this one thing. Earlier, I mentioned that she was complaining about how low her wage was. Um, so she was not able to even get a pearl necklace. However, near the time that she was gonna get married, and also the last day that she was allowed to work in the division because they let her go. So, but her boss let her down easy. Like he was actually really nice about it. They, um, they were really nice to her. Like they were all, they changed their behavior towards her. Of course, they gained respect for her. But this one white woman that she works with, that she barely interacted with, I think only about once in the entire movie, or maybe twice. So she gave her a pearl necklace, and she's like, "Congratulations! I heard about your wedding, blah 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 blah," you know. So it was kind of like a goodbye gift, but at the same time, it's like a welcoming gift, like welcome to your new life, you know. So it's like it's not like she lost completely a lot of things. It's you win some, you lose some. It was a good way to say goodbye. She ended things on good terms with most of the people there. Um, and yeah, she wore it at the wedding, and she wore it like almost every day after the wedding because she like in the other scenes she is consistently wearing that pearl necklace. So it shows you that it's like a prized possession to her. So yeah, and her kids are very happy. Like they really like him. So it was a really good ending. So later on, Dorothy Vaughan. Okay, so Dorothy actually taught herself programming, right? She didn't really understand much of programming. She was more of like a supervisor. She just wanted the leadership that she deserved, basically. But she did all of the work as a supervisor, but she never really got paid for it. So see how she taught herself programming by herself, by the way. Like that time, there wasn't really computers. Computers were the humans calculating everything and doing everything. So imagine teaching yourself programming when it's still new and you kind of like what's going on. And right now, we're struggling to learn it even. Which, come on, I also struggle. I'm not shading anyone, okay? It's very hard. So that's shows dedication. All of them, it shows you there's dedication, there's smartness, there's bravery, courage. So it's a really good film. It really gives you almost empowerment and inspiration. It's really really good. So in the end, of course, Mary fights for her education, her classes, and her position in the engineering school and whatever. So yeah, they all got what they wanted at the end. Honestly, all achieved what they needed to achieve, and it's kind of like encouraging more women, to what's the word, to explore more positions in STEM careers, right? So yeah, that was a really good movie. In my opinion, it's a really really good movie. There was a lot of things to take away from this movie. Like there's a lot of problems being presented. You know, it shows you that you should really take initiative for what you believe in. You should really care about your future and your success. And it's showing also that you can only be the one to do it for yourself. If no one else is gonna believe in you, you should do it yourself, right? And you should also ask for help when you need it, because we all need help sometimes. It is perfectly fine to ask for help. You need it. There we go. Right? And it's showing you that also that change can happen. And of course, this movie, for us, 2 hours. For them, months. And maybe possibly even years. She even celebrated her 56th anniversary or something at the end or something. Like, she worked for 56 years. Imagine. The dedication, the hard work. Like, that's really, really good. So yeah, it's a really good movie. It's really, really entertaining. There's humor. to lighten up the mood. Sometimes it really plays with the audience's emotions. It makes you feel sympathy, you know. It makes you feel sometimes happy, relieved, like, oh, finally. You feel satisfaction, like you it really engages with the audience's feelings, right? There's also the suspense. You don't know what's happening, you don't know what might happen, you're scared, you want it to go well, because the way they pictured it is like you should be on their side, of course, right? And yeah, these are based on real women. I'm not sure if I covered everything so far in the movie. My memory is not that good, even though I literally just watched it. But yeah, I think it's a really good watch. I think it's actually worth it. After this video, you should 100% watch the movie. If you don't want to watch the 2 hours, just speed it up by 2. Like, just speed it up or whatever. But it's a really, really good watch. It's so entertaining. Shows you the dedication of them and how smart they are regardless of their gender and their skin color, and shows you how in that time it's really improved and people's ideas have changed. There was a lot of also character development all throughout. As the boss, the secretary, or whatever she was, I don't know who she is, the blonde woman, you know, with the bob haircut. It's a lot of character development, but you can see how those 3 women stayed the same. And the same they started with was already perfect. However, they've gotten more brave and courageous, just like how Mary was already at the beginning. But they rarely changed. You know, they rarely had to improve so much like the rest of the characters, right? And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Catherine wasn't even allowed to go to most of these places, the conferences, where she had to calculate things for these conferences, but she couldn't even attend. So she was doing all the work. She had to restart because the data kept updating and updating and updating. And finally, she was allowed to enter. And they all, of course, gave her looks, but she impressed them with her calculation and her genius brain. And she took so little time. And the boss even mentioned that she got more decimal places than the hunk of metal. He called that calculator or whatever that big thing was a hunk of metal. So, and it really puts in perspective how genius she really was, and makes you appreciate her more and more as the audience. So that is it. Thank you for watching, listening. Yeah, I hope you really like this movie. Like, I hope you get a good idea of the movie and do want to watch it after watching this video. Maybe if you've already watched it, you can agree with me or whatever, or disagree with me, that's fine. Drop a comment down below if I missed something, if I didn't mention something, or if I was wrong about something. Okay, tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, all your opinions. Okay, I'll be looking forward to reading the comments. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Liked the video so it's more, you know, promoted to other people as well. And yeah, that was it. It was a pretty good movie. I like it. It's one of my favorite movies. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in my next episode. Bye.